Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Sister to Sister. We are so excited to be here today. We have a special treat in the building with us. So we're happy to be back and joining you all today with another great topic on today. We are going to discuss our the parent child relationship growing together. We have some children in the building, some seeds from our sisters here are in the building with us, some younger people. So one of the most important things, we want to make sure that we keep family close, and we want to make sure that we pull them in and bridge that gap between families. So we invited our kids on today. We told you last month that we will be doing this month a special Mother's Day. We know Mother's Day has passed, but this is our week to come in. We're doing a special Mother's Day episode on today, and we have our beautiful and handsome kids in the building with us. So we're happy that they decided to join us. Those that could, we're here. I'm gonna let my sisters go ahead and greet you all.
I just want to say hello. I'm excited. I'm ready to hear what's about to transpire on today. I'm excited to have the young adults in here with us, and I am not going to be surprised. We all have a real, authentic, wonderful relationship, so I'm ready to hear what they have to say.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm glad to be here, and I too am excited, and I'm glad that our children and our mother is in the house.
Oh, yes. I forgot to say we have the matriarch. We have the beautiful mother. Our mother is here with us on today, and we also have our children. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them, but we all know our mother. She was on the last time, but the last time she was on, but she wasn't on camera. So now we have her beautiful face on camera with us today.
Yeah.
Mother, you want to go ahead and greet the people and say hello?
Hello, people. Glad to be here. Not glad to be on camera, but I'm glad to be here.
We are happy. Now those that ask, you can put a face with the voice now.
Yes.
This is our mother, the one we talk about that did all that, those things, great, wonderful, taught us those great, wonderful lessons growing up that some of us didn't want to hear at the time, but she poured it into us and beat it. I'm not going to say beat, but she...
Well,
Well, she made sure that we got some of those points that she was... I would say she did her job. Mother was mothering.
Yes.
So mother was mothering. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know we have my sister Ashley's daughter right here in the brown. Starty. Go ahead and say hello, Starty.
Hello.
We have my other niece. This is Brandy's daughter. I probably don't even have to say who's who. You can look and tell who's who. They are their mother's twins. So we have Angel in the building with us.
Happy to be here.
And we have the nephew, the one nephew who got tied into all this with all these ladies. He survived, y'all. He survived all this female energy.
Bless your heart.
Bless him. We have Micah, our handsome Micah, in the building with us today.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey. I don't know if they're nervous or not, but we are so ready to hear what they say. I love to talk to the young adults and hear things from their aspect, and hear how they see things through their lens. So I'm excited. We're going to honor our mothers on today. We're here going to honor our mom on today.
Yes.
We are here. We may hear some stuff on today. I know that we all come from a biblical aspect. So with this parent-child edition, we know that the Bible emphasizes the importance of both the children, the parental, and the children roles, and fulfilling each role that we have with family, with mainly focusing on obedience, honoring
Yes.
our parents, and vice versa, and teaching. So as parents, we've been instructed through God to lead them in the way that the Lord says to lead them, and train them up and raise them. And our children are expected from the biblical aspect to honor their parents. That our responsibility as parents is to teach and train. Their responsibility is to listen
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know
Yes.
if they knew
And
that,
obey.
but one of the responsibilities that they have is to listen
And obey.
And
and
obey.
and obey. And as parents, we don't want to provoke our kids. I'm gonna get that out up
Mm-mm.
front. We're not to
Yes.
provoke them. We're not to aggravate them or agitate them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna hear some good stuff about how these people were raised. I'm sorry, my children are not here. My oldest is out celebrating her birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and my two youngest ones are out celebrating somebody else's birthday. But I'm happy, so we'll go ahead. Ashley, you have anything you want to add at this?
I'm just like you said. I'm looking forward to hearing, and I think this is going to help others that have relationships with their children, and maybe
Mhm.
they're going on into adulthood,
Mhm.
and it transitions. So just knowing how to
That's
transition,
good.
knowing some of the bumps and some of the roads that we've traveled to be able to help somebody else. Because when I talk to other people, sometimes they're like, "Oh, you went through that too, or you dealt with that too."
Mhm.
So I think this is going to shed some light on
Mhm.
those things. And as parents, there is no rule book. There is no, you
No.
don't just have this wonderful blueprint. I think it's per child. I have 3 children,
Mhm.
3
That's a
daughters,
good
and
point.
I have a godson, so I have 4. My son too. But and parenting them has been different. So
Mhm.
I think that aspect of it is going to be something that we're going to tap into as well.
Hey man, that's good. I'm excited too, and I was just thinking about how nowadays people in the media are promoting no children. They're
Mhm.
really pushing it right now about
Mm-hmm.
no children, but it's very rewarding, and God
It is.
wanted us to be fruitful and multiply. So that's just something that we all have children, and we get to speak on the aspect of having children, how fun it was raising them, the ups and downs
Interesting.
that you have, but
Mhm.
it's still rewarding. God, it's
Yes.
still God's will, and God still blesses it regardless.
That's
That's
good, and
good.
it's very interesting. And with that, I want to open up for a mom to say something. So I do have a question for mom on today. We're gonna start here. Let's start here with the ones on the couch.
Yes.
So, as from our mother, mom, can you
Hmm.
let the people know how it was? Because you had 3 as
Let the
well,
people know.
3 girls, and like Ashley was saying, she is a tree. What is it? She's a part of your branch, a tree, a limb from your tree. I can't remember how to
Yes.
say it, but anyway, so she has 3 girls. And she talked about and the difference in raising each one. So, mom, let us know, how was it raising these 3 beautiful daughters
Yes.
that you have?
Do share.
Well, what did you say?
Do share.
Let's hear from her first.
Y'all are funny. Well, it it is a difference with each child. No 2 children are alike. I don't care if you have twins. I have twin nieces. No 2 children are alike. And so you have to, being a parent, when you're instilling in your children the morals or the ideas, the thing that you hold to be very important, when you're instilling in your children, you have to, um, I don't want to say deal with, but that's the only word I can think of right now. You have to handle them the way that they are.
Mhm.
Everybody is not the same.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I have one child that didn't like hugs, and
My Lord.
would not, I'm saying at that time, didn't like hugs, so you could not hug her. We would attack her
See.
and hug her. We would definitely, and I would sick the other 2 on her. I said, go get her, grab her, and hug her. I got one who's so lovey dovey, always want hugs, always want, whatever. And then I have one that um liked hugs and kisses, and would challenge me sometimes and say, you didn't kiss us last night.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I did. Well, we didn't know it. I said, you were asleep. Well, do it when we're awake.
Okay.
So, think about who it was.
You can
I think
let
it's
us
Aunt
know who
Brenda.
that
Yeah,
was.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and raising my daughters was a challenge, and I felt like a blessing, because this is my philosophy on this is what I believe.
Help us.
God trusts us, so He loans our children to us. He
Mm.
said, they're mine. And I'm going to loan them to you. And I want you to raise them like I would raise them. And when we do this, of course, God is pleased and then He blesses us, but they're not ours to keep. They're ours to mold and to raise up. And the Word of God says in the nurture and admonition of the Lord, this is how we should raise our children. I did what I could. I did the best that I could with these girls. I raised them the way that I felt like was a good way to raise them. Now, looking back, I just told one of them the other day, when I look at how they raise their children, I see things that I would have liked to have incorporated in my raising them, that I didn't have to be that hard. I could have done it the way that she did it. That I love that, and I love the way they raise their children. I love the way they handle them, or they have a relationship with their children. But there are some things I think, I shouldn't have done that. I should have. Then there's something that I'll say I should have done more of that. You know, it's and a lot of it is discipline. I should have done more discipline in certain areas, but I should have done it a different way.
Really?
I should have explained myself better, because growing up now their children can come and talk to them about anything. They can say anything, however they say it. When I was growing up, there were certain things you did in a certain way you approach your parents, and I use that same philosophy in raising my kids. You can say things to me, but you better watch how you say it.
Yes. Heard that
You
every
know,
day.
you need to remember that I'm not your friend, I'm your mother. I demanded respect. I got it. I demanded respect. And if I didn't get it, I handled it the way that I handled it. Yeah, I did some whoopings. I did some whoopings, and I changed that to where I did some punishment, and for one, the punishment didn't work. She kind of you know, like rebelled a little bit with the punishment, so I had to go back to whooping her. So but I know I'm talking a lot, but I so totally enjoyed having my children. The one thing that I've said before, I said on camera. I mean, yeah, I said it here before, that because of the way I was raised, I was very introverted. I did not express myself in any loving way, other I was very kind. And my children taught me how to love. They taught me to accept hugs. They taught me to accept kisses and whatever. They taught me to play, because I didn't do that. I didn't play, and they taught me to play, and how in some ways not to be so harsh. So I'm gonna stop right now. I may have something else to share. But I'm gonna stop and hand it back off to Cookie. Did I
was
answer
just
your
wondering-
question?
You did. You answered the question, but I was wondering who that one child was
Which one?
that you were talking about.
You
What
have
did
to
she
go
say?
back and
That did what?
That
you couldn't
had
discipline
to
them. You
put-
had to start whooping them again.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that had Tanisha?
Ain't
Oh,
Cookie.
okay.
I knew.
I assumed it was my mother. But
No.
Mm-mm.
She
She didn't
just
stop
she
getting
straight.
whooped.
No,
Straight
I
on
didn't
whooping.
get
She didn't
punishments. I just got straight whooped. So
Yeah.
it never was a
That was
punishment.
me. I knew.
I tried to punish Cookie by telling her, okay, since you didn't do what I said, now you're going to have to wash dishes for the whole week. She didn't wash them. I said, okay, you're going to have to wash dishes for 2 weeks. I went all the way to a month, and I said, this is not working. Because she didn't clean up my kitchen the way I wanted it clean. So I had to go back to tending that hide
That's
a little bit.
interesting that you
Yeah.
say that, because now I see something with my child. Oh my gosh, I'm wondering what is going on. That's very interesting that you bring that out, because honestly, I didn't know that was me.
Yeah, it was you. It
We
was
knew.
you.
We knew.
I
It
knew,
was
we
you.
knew. We knew. Yes.
But I don't. I know I don't. Don't punish me. Don't tell me you're gonna punish me. I'm not feeling that. I'm not entertaining it. I'm not with that. Oh, okay. That didn't register to me, you know. So I like the fact that you said, you know, how we talk about the 3 different kids. I think a lot of times nowadays we tend to, when our kids get older, we think as adults we don't still have to be there for them as parents. And I think this is a very good, I'm glad that they're here today, because when they do get older, we can't throw them to the wolves like that.
Right.
I think we still need to be there. We can be there to not intrude, not being there intrusive in a intrusive way, but we can still be there as a parent and guide them and help them as they maneuver through the transition from teenage to young adulthood, and I think
Mhm.
a lot of times adults we get so tired or with the parenting, that's a hard job. As being parents, that's a hard job. And like Ashley said, there's no rule book to parenting, and a lot of times we beat ourselves up for things that we oh, like mom just said, I wish I would have did this better, or did some people beat themselves up, and when the kids get older and they may go astray or they may bump their heads or they may go out in a different way. But
Mhm.
I always say they're building their testimony, you
Mhm.
know. And I'm a perfect example of that. I know you heard me say once before that when I changed my life, I wasn't just in a church house or nothing like that. I just know the things that my mom taught us as kids. And I was in the hotel room like, Lord, forgive me. Hey, help me. It's changed my life. So it was the things that I was taught and trained, like the Bible says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and
Mhm.
when he's older, he should not depart.
Mhm.
I'm that example of that scripture right there. I'm the example of that because my mom trained, she taught us, and that's as a parental role, and as that being our responsibility of the parent, we are to teach and to train our children in the way of God, and
Yes.
teach and
Yes.
train them to be adults and teach and train them to make wise choices, and help them. And we can do that by the life that we live because we are
Mhm.
the number one example. They see us. So they tend to pattern our lives.
Mhm.
So, but I said all that to say that I'm the example and the testament to, because the things that I was taught, it didn't seem like I heard it then, but when it came to a time of need, all this stuff came back to my mind. I was like, oh, wait, yeah, it started flooding back to me.
Mhm.
And I was like, right, I knew I heard this before. I knew I was taught this. And one of the things I remember as a little kid going to church that stuck with me, I don't remember anything outside of going to Sunday school as a kid. But the one thing that the Sunday school teacher taught is she said, treat others how you want to be treated.
Mhm.
And that stuck with me. So that's one thing I try to uh, apply to my life and make sure that if I don't want anybody doing certain things to me, I try not to do them to others. Now, I made some mistakes along the way and did some
Mhm.
things unconsciously, but some of the things, and I'm saying that to say that as parents, give yourself a break. Don't beat yourself up, because our kids do. I had to go and make my testimony. I had to
Mhm.
go and build my testimony, and it was through me bumping my head. But with the praying mother, she kept me in prayer, and it's by the grace of God that I'm here today. Well, it's by the purpose of God, the destiny
Mhm.
of
Okay.
God that I'm here
Okay.
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because He has a purpose and a plan for my life. But I think and we're talking today, and we're talking about the growing together from parent child, and I want to just emphasize the to parents that don't beat yourself up. You're doing a good job, and today maybe we salute you.
Yes.
We didn't make Mother's Day, but this is still the month. This is our Mother Day edition. We salute mothers on today, and we want to honor mothers on today and let you know that you're doing a good job.
Mhm.
It's just you being present right there alone, still being present in your child's life. You're doing a good job because a lot of people don't have the mother figure or the parental figure in their life anymore. But if you're listening today, we want to salute you.
Yes. And even for those that may not have mothers, like your mother birthed you, but she's
Mhm.
not there or
Mhm.
wasn't there was a purpose for her to get you here, even
Right.
if it was just that, because I know there are some people that uh, didn't have that.
Mhm.
Every mother daughter or mother son
Mhm.
relationship isn't the best, but thankfully, like you said, that wasn't the blueprint we had. But for those that may have had that blueprint, some people, I've seen some people that probably didn't have that best relationship, but then
Right.
they in turn, you're gonna do one or two things. You're gonna either duplicate or do the same thing, imitate what you saw before you, or you're gonna do the opposite. So there were some that say, you know what, I didn't get this. So when I have children, I'm gonna give this to my
Mhm.
children and
Mhm.
give a better example. And I thank God for my mom. I know her upbringing wasn't just all grand or the best, but she made sure that she instilled love in us. She made sure that she poured into us, and she said that we taught her how to love, but we were only reflecting what she was giving
Right.
to us. And so I'm thankful for that. And even with my children, like I said earlier, all my children are different, like night and day. They have some similarities, but they are so different. They're all headstrong. They're all every last one of them, you know. And
They
so
are.
growing up in the house with them, it was interesting to say the least. It was very interesting. I thank God, because I was nervous, you know, having children and hearing all my life, you're going to have kids and they're going to act just like you. So I was a little nervous. Like,
we
Lord,
don't want that.
I was praying and I was like, Lord, you know, maybe I can reach back from somewhere else and, you know, get
She
something.
reached over
Yeah,
here.
I reached all the way back, honey.
Over here.
Yeah, I reached over because to be honest, I didn't have, my children were not bad. I thank God for that.
Yes.
That was it challenging at sometimes. Yes, they challenged me, but knowing how I was and the wonderful challenges that I gave my parents, it was nothing compared to the fruitful challenges that I gave my parents. They had a little blossoming, but it wasn't nothing compared to that. And so I'm thankful to God. I say it all the time. I would get calls from the school about how good my children were, and my parents got the opposite, you know. And so I'm thankful for that part of it. But even when growing up, the different changes that all of them went through, I had to maneuver and to navigate through that. And I couldn't do it the same way I did with the other one. Even when it came to discipline, like my mom said, us with the hugs and the love, when it came to discipline in my house, I knew one, I could punish.
Put a name
One-
to it. Put a name.
Yeah.
I knew one, I could
She said put a name.
put a name to it.
Shaye, you
We want to put names to it.
Yes.
So
Yes, please.
with my oldest, Shaye, I couldn't, if I took something from her, that she didn't care. Like, oh, okay, you know, she hated to be spanked. She didn't want whooping. She hated that. That would bother her. But if I just said, go to your room or whatever, that was just like, okay, this is fine with me. It wasn't like a punishment. But I didn't have to do those things with her. I could just tell her certain things. Okay, it's done. With Star, all I had to do was talk to her because the tears were rolling. She's gonna start crying, and it would get a little dramatic. And
It
so,
wasn't dramatic.
Yes.
I felt what you were saying, and I just moved accordingly after that.
oh yeah,
That's
okay,
it. I'm helping you out.
that's what it was.
You didn't have to work out, you know, all the
with the
punishing
belt
and
and stuff. Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Work
it.
out like I had to.
It
Yeah,
pierced my
like you had, yeah, you didn't give her the workout. My sister had to go.
You didn't have to.
But with her, I would just talk, and like the tears are rolling, and like, oh my God. And then with my youngest, yeah, I had to. I didn't spare the rod. I had to use the rod. I had to pull out the belt. I had to
3-in-1
go
with that
to. Yeah, she was a lot like me when it came to that part of it. I didn't get a choice when it came to. My mama didn't say, "Hey, you want punishment or you want?" I just got spanked. So it was kind of the same with
It was
her.
because of your mouth.
Mouth,
Was it?
It was because of your mouth.
mouth attitude, and yeah, I agree. I cannot disagree with you. And so those were some of the things that I had to learn with all of them. I had to know my children.
Yeah.
I had to know even with certain things, like, okay, if somebody said this person did this or did that, 9 times out of 10, like, okay, I know you're right, because I know that one would. Prime example, I remember my mom's cousin came to her and said Brandy cursed him out or something. And my
Yeah.
mom and my aunt were like, no, Brandy did not. They knew, because that wasn't her character. Brandy did not do this. Now they said, now, Squirt, if you said Squirt cussed you out, we would have believed you. But we know Brandy did not do that. So you have to know your children. You have to know, okay, I know with this one, even in good ways, okay, I can give this one a gift, or this one may want love, hugs, or this one may want whatever the case may be. When you know that, that'll help you navigate through parenting. And when they're older, it's even different then. So
It
I
is.
love, like you said, it was a blessing. And you
blessing.
said it too, having children, because even as my children have gotten older, like my mom said, I used to tell them all the time, I'm not your friend, I'm your mom. But now that they're grown, I'm like, these my little best friends. Like, you know, I love that
Yes.
part of it.
Okay. I like to. It's like what I was thinking. You started saying it, so that was good. I wanted to start with as far as like the children who didn't have their parents,
Yes.
but maybe they had a grandparent,
Mhm.
maybe they had an aunt or an uncle. Thank God for that, because your parents, is not that they didn't love you, but maybe they couldn't raise you.
Yes.
So don't, as you grow up, don't resent them for not being there, because God had his plan or whatever. And maybe he wanted your grandmother or your grandfather that went to church, or your aunties or uncles to raise you, because he knew better. And you know, there are a lot of children, well, young adults now, that as they grow up, they resent their parents for not being there. We don't really give them a little grace, because you don't know what it is that maybe they were going through at that time, and they thought for the best decision was to allow the parent or their parents to raise them. Maybe they were too young
Yes.
to have a child at that time, and they thought that, well, hey, you know, you can go ahead and please help or whatever. And thank God for grandparents or family members that help, because it really does take a village. It really does take, because we all like played a part in raising each other's children. Like her children are my children, and vice
Yes.
versa.
Yes.
All of our children, we all play a part in helping to raise each other's children. And I just wanted to get into, because we were talking about like the different styles. And at first, when my kids were little, because my dad whooped us for a long while until my mom put a stop to it, because he was trying to kill us.
Right.
But we did get whoopings, and but they never raised their voices or anything like that. But when I had kids, I took that, and I was like just whooping for everything. And then one day it just hit me: you don't have to raise your kids like this.
Yes.
You don't have to do that. You can talk to them. You can put them in the corner. Kids hate corner. Most kids hate being in the corner. I don't know who made that thing up or whatever, but it works.
The timeout.
Yeah, the timeout. So you have to, as you grow, and I just thank God, because that was one thing that I told myself: just because my dad did this, I don't have to do.
Right,
I don't have
that's
to raise the
good.
same way. And I told my kids used to tell them all the time, like, take the good that you see in me. Throw everything else away. Take everything that was good, because it is sometimes you can take it on. But thank God for showing me, because I was like, no, I don't have to do this to my children. And thank God, because a lot of people, my mama mentioned it at first, but a lot of people, as we were raising them, was like, they being disrespectful to you. They being, oh, you just let your kids tell you? Yes, I do. Because I want them they're human beings. They're still people, and they need to be treated as such. If you treat them like you do what I say, you know, like that, beating them over the head or whatever, you're not going to have an open relationship with them.
Right.
They're not going to want to talk to you. And that's how, like, a lot of children, as they grow up, they pretty much just like cut themselves off from their parents and their family members. Their communication needs to be open. And my kids can talk, even though they are like quiet until like, you know, you meet people. With us, those two kids will talk. And I would like, a lot of times, if I didn't pick them up, maybe my mama picked them up, or whoever picked them up from school growing up, I'd be like, whew, thank you. You took one for me today. Because once they get it out, like however their day was, most of the times they're not going to want to repeat it. And I'd be like, whoa, thank y'all so much. Yeah. Because they can talk. But I just thank God that they are, that they did talk, and I thank God that they were that they listened or whatever, because that's one thing that that I appreciate with raising them. We had fun.
Yes.
We let them say things, and they would just say things like, I remember one time because I was trying to stop yelling. I was like, Lord, please help me. I don't want to yell at my kids, because they would like tense up like that when they were little. And so I said, okay, I'm going to put a rubber band on my wrist. And every time I yell, y'all just come up and pop the rubber band. Well, before the day was up, my wrist was hurting so bad. It was like pop, 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 pop. And I was like, okay, all right, guys, let's go ahead and think of something else to do, because this is wearing me out. But it did help me, because I was conscious of, okay, bring it down. You don't have to talk to them like that. But then as they grew up, they'll be like, why are you talking like that? I think I said one time, like, they know, like, if I'm hungry, sometimes my mood changes. And my daughter be like, did you eat today? Like,
The sickest commercial.
Exactly.
Come with snacks. It's a peace offering.
Yes, she does. She get in my car now and have food in the car ready for me, just so my mood won't
It's snacks in my purse right now.
Like, so that's funny.
Yes.
Talk about knowing your child.
Yes.
The child knowing their parents.
Yes.
It's hard raising them.
It's hard raising your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shaye said Aunt Brenda was the creative disciplinary.
She was.
I was. I
Very
had
much
to be.
so.
Yeah, because growing up, like Angel gave me a run. Like
Ooh.
I couldn't whoop her that long, like
Jeez.
growing up, because this girl I would have my workout cut out
Yeah.
for me. She's jumping over beds, like I'm chasing her. Like it would get to the point to
And
where
laughing.
I would just stop and just laugh. I was like, okay, I give up. You you win. Like I can't do this because I was so tired trying to like discipline her, and I was like, something else has to happen because I can't whoop her anymore. But
Someone, my bestie in the comments said that you were talking about timeout. She said social isolation can be very effective because it forces reflection.
yeah, buddy.
Okay, it makes you sit back and think. Now you isolated me. Now I'm sitting over here. Well, what did I do wrong? Or what can I do to get out of this? Because I know sometimes when I worked at the daycare, if I put the kids in a timeout, they'll come back to me and always be like, "Well, I'm sorry that I did that,"
Yeah.
or I'm not gonna do that again. I didn't know that was bad. I'm not gonna do it. Can I please get out of timeout early, or can I please get out?
Even as a parent, if you feel like you are getting to a limit to where you don't want to do anything that you should not do, give your own self a timeout.
That's good.
Go sit in a room, go sit and reflect or whatever, and just calm down so that you can come back to them and speak to them as a person.
Yes, and one thing that I did with my children from a young age, and like you said, people were like, "Oh, you just late," because us growing up, it wasn't quite like that, and you didn't see that. But I would always let them. We would have every week. I would let them come in. They could tell me if I did it, and at the time I was married to their dad, so they would come in and tell us everything that we did that hurt their feelings, everything that we did that made them feel a certain type of way. If we do certain things that they may not like, because the one thing that they hated was if they did something and I'm fussing and going off, and then I'll get on the phone with y'all, be like, "Girl, let me tell you what these kids
Yes.
did," and blah, they be like, "Why you gotta get on the phone with your sisters and tell your sisters what?" And then they voiced that to me, and so I was like, okay, it's certain things that I'm not like. We're talking, so I'm not gonna do that because they expressed to me that they did not like that. And when somebody tell you you're doing something that they don't like, you need to listen. Now, when it came to certain things, and like I said, with all three of my children, I had to like let them know like the boundaries and the different things because I was like, hey, let me know how you feel. If I hurt your feelings, if I did something to make you feel a certain type of way, if I said something a certain way to make, so they did. And so I would just let them express themselves. You can say whatever you need to say. And this is a moment where you're safe. This is a moment where I'm not gonna, go off or act a certain kind of way. And one of them, that young one again, I'll never forget. She was about 4 or 5, and she was like, "Sometimes I just want to bust you in your mouth." And I said, "We gonna rear this back. Let me remind you who I am. You can tell me how you feel, but you better be careful with how you say." I realized then, like, okay, we gotta set some more boundaries because I would never forget. Everybody else was being respectful. "Yes, ma'am, mom, I don't like when you do this, do that." She just told me, "Sometimes I just want to bust you in your mouth."
That sounds just like her.
And I'm like, 4 or 5, you want to hit me in my mouth? So I like, okay, well, let's kind of revamp this. But I would allow them to tell me how they felt because, like you said, they're human.
Yes.
And if I'm doing something to you, I'm not just gonna be like, "Well, I'm grown," and
Exactly.
And then I have that was kind of some friction because on the flip side, I was you letting these kids tell us this. Yes, we need to know how they feel. We need to know if they're afraid of us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we're new to parenting, just like they're new in this world.
Yes.
So we're all doing this together. So we make mistakes.
Yes.
So if somebody comes to you to humble you or to show you yourself, to accept it, reflect on it, and then accept it, or whatever. Because God is still building character in us as parents, the same as He's building character in these children. So it's okay. You can't say you can't tell me anything because you're a child. Yes, you can.
Yes. And I
With respect.
apologize to them too all the time.
Me too.
I would always come back and apologize, and sometimes I feel like I was over apologizing. Like,
No,
I'm so
you
sorry.
She did it.
Yeah, but that's another thing too.
But y'all did. Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
But I really, that's something I appreciated growing up because y'all lay the foundation for like every type of relationship that we have. So I carry that, like in friendships. Sometimes I get a little nervous because I don't want to offend them, even though it's hurt my feelings. But I'm like, I was raised to express myself, and yeah, but y'all really laid that foundation. So thank you.
I think it's good because we on this podcast that we have, we talk about relationships. So, and we talk about the healthy side and the toxic side. We bring that up a lot. And one of the toxic traits is like shutting people down. When they come and they express yourself and you shut them down, that causes rejection.
Yes, it does.
So we want to make sure that as parents, we are mindful of this as well. We, like Brandy said, we're learning, and we have to stop treating our kids as if they're, and just say, like in the old days, stay in a child's place. Okay, well, I am a child, but I do have a mind. I do have feelings. I do have emotions. I do hurt. You know, so we gotta as parents, we have to be mindful of that and be aware of that they hurt, and we can cause them to we can damage them, and then they cause this childhood trauma, and when they're older they have to work through those type of things. And we're not perfect, like as you said, you know, but we want to be aware and mindful that they're, like Brenda said, they're humans also. Just because they're kids, they are humans, or just because they're young adults now, they are still human, and we can't shut people down because that's a toxic relationship trait. We need everybody to be vocal, because sometimes I may not know that something that I'm doing may hurt you or cause a trigger for you. And I had something here that I wanted to share because through my, I always have a tip. So we have to be mindful. I heard a lady say, remember that the people in your life have a different story, a different history, and have different wounds. And programming and different wounds and programming and conditioning. They have different pain that they carry, and because of that, the way they process things and experience things is different than the way we do. Remembering this will lead to growth, healing, and expansion in your relationship. I can't remember who said it, but it does. So when we allow you to be you and be different, we're embracing you, and we welcome it, and we create that safe space, that safe place, to where you know that you have a place to come. You don't have to run outside. A lot of our kids are running outside looking for things that they need to be getting at home, you know, and I hate that they're not, but we want to, when we know better, we do better. So that's why we're bringing awareness to it on today. We're bringing it to the light to maybe it'll help somebody, We want to make sure that everybody is different. And like we said, we talked about we are 3 kids that our mother raised, but we all are different in our own. We each have kids who are different in their own. And we have to turn the light on and realize what I can do this here, I can't do this here. This was as parents, we are teaching them. We are training them. And let's just say we're all teachers. We're teaching our children how to become healthy adults. So a lot of the time, we can't blame the kids for being bad all the time, because we have a part to play and we have to take ownership. Like Ashley said, I had to apologize sometimes, because as I come to the knowledge, I'm like, and Brandy said, okay, if I'm yelling, I want to work on this. And she was the creative parent. She popped the rubber band. If I'm yelling and they got to come and pop the rubber band, I don't know. I'm not going to let my child pop the rubber band on me. Neither one of them. They would make it out of a game for real. And I would be talking in my normal voice, and they'll say, you yelling, let me pop it 3 times. They'll add some extra time on it. But I want to hear from your Brandy's kids. How was it with her as your mother?
Growing up was really interesting. I was just thinking about how the last time I was disciplined and whooped, and I gave her a run for her money, and she was over it, so she grabbed me by my ankle and held me upside down, and then whooped me that way. And that was the last time we ever had that, while laughing, but she swooped me up, and she caught me.
Both of you were laughing.
We pretty much laughed throughout all of my disciplines, and I would talk to her as she's hitting me, and I'm like, you don't have to do this. Why are you doing this? You don't have to abuse me. And she's like, I have to. Laughing. And then it was over after that.
Tell me about the shirt.
Oh, she also had a discipline shirt where she put us in the same shirt and made us hug.
The get along
shirt.
shirt.
Yeah, we get along shirt.
Yeah.
We had to hug each other.
We all had to get inside of the shirt together and hug each other, and we cried.
And what did I have to say?
I don't remember.
I love you.
I
Was it I love you?
Yeah, I love you. I love you.
Very creative forms of discipline. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to touch each other like that.
I understand. I feel
Yeah.
where you're coming from.
It was a big T-shirt for all 5 of us.
Okay, you said 5 people in one shirt like that.
What was that?
Get
Get
along.
along.
They were
Sure.
going to get along.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. She would also make mainly Biggie just repeat what he did that she didn't like. So if he stormed off whining, she would make him do that over and over again. And he would be crying and she'd be like, "Oh, you didn't do it right. Lift
was
that
nice
leg a little
to
bit
watch.
higher and keep doing it." And we would just
Nice to
kind of
I've never
laugh.
seen anything like that.
Until
We
he
would just
started
laugh
laughing.
watching him.
Until he started laughing, like I would do it until he started laughing. And I was saying, like, now, do you see how silly that looked?
Yeah.
That's
That
dramatic.
was our discipline.
Well, do you think, as now looking back on it, how effective was it? How did it? Did you learn?
I think I did learn. A lot of people nowadays say that like discipline is like giving their kids trauma and how they shouldn't discipline them at all. And so their kids are running rampant in the
Yeah.
streets. But
Mm.
like we still respect our parents.
Yes.
Our parent and still
And
No.
and you still love her through it all, even though she
Yeah.
did. And I'm
Yeah,
asking
only
because
because my father didn't discipline, that's why.
Ah.
I say
Yeah.
parent.
Yeah.
That's it.
and Micah, how did that make you feel? Was it effective with you?
The doing that same thing over and over again.
Yeah, how was that? And please do tell.
Man, I guess it worked. You look silly and you notice it. You're like, I don't want to do that again. So I guess it kind of worked.
It made you reflect,
Yeah.
self-reflect, right?
Yeah.
And I ask that because as parents, we don't want to be mean or be the bad guy. You know, it's hard for us sometimes. Oh, now I gotta punish you, or now I
Yes.
gotta do this
That's
to you. I
hard.
don't want. I love you. I don't want to do this to you.
Yes.
But discipline is good. If we have no discipline, then we come out like Angel said and just run rampant and be lawless, or be
Lawless.
adults with no direction. You know, we run it. I don't even know what to say, but we don't have and breaking. We tend they break rules and be the ones that have trouble past
Yeah.
or trouble life, you know. But when we create discipline, you know, and we obey the rules are not bad. When we create discipline and let you know you cannot do this or we cannot allow you to go in this manner, that creates healthy adults, you know.
Yes.
Even though
Yes,
I didn't
yes.
like the discipline, I didn't really I don't think I got a lot got into a lot of trouble because I don't like to get in trouble. I don't like
You
just me
didn't.
personally, I don't like to get in trouble. I don't like my husband right now. When I got with him, I'll tell you this, and being very transparent, my husband was a rebel. And I was one that I did my share of things, but I don't want to break a rule. I'm sorry. I'm going to follow instructions. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't just me. I don't want to do it. You know, I may have tried some things, but I don't want to get in trouble. I'm gonna do what I have to do. But my husband, on the other hand, he was a rebel. He would test the limits on everything, you know. But just with that alone, I've learned as growing up that this is not the area where I want to go in. And through having parents, our mom was loving,
Yes.
but she didn't play. She's very stern with this, and she was very hands-on to let us know you were not my child out here carrying on like this. Not my child. You were raised better than that. My dad was also a person that you're not gonna be out here acting crazy like you don't have home, like they say, oh, you act like you ain't got no home training. Oh, we got home training
Yeah.
at home, and it does start at home. Like they say, charity starts at home. Home training starts at home. You know, as
Definitely.
parents, we have to teach them when they're young, and when they get older, you know, they will be more healthier. You know, so I'm glad that you said that. Like, you still love your mom. You know, even through the discipline, they still have a relationship. Look, they were willing to come here and talk on today. So parents out there that's just letting your kids run around and do whatever, just know that it's okay to discipline. We don't want them to get up and be the kid that's in trouble with the police or in trouble or causing trouble in and out of jail. So we need to start and reel it in right now and create healthy healthy children so that they can grow and be healthy adults, that when they have kids, that we break these these cycles, you know.
Yes.
You know, like Brandy said, some parents didn't have that some people didn't have their parents, but their grandmother raised them.
Mhm.
God placed someone in their life. Or some people didn't eat because their parents may not have known. But we got to break the cycle. We got to break the cycle of just throwing our kids away. We got to bring them back in. And we got to
Yes.
stop letting the streets have them. We got to let them know that I love you, you know.
Mhm.
I accept you, you know.
Yes.
I welcome you. You can always come back home. We have a bad stigma in our culture where we think that when the kid gets older, it's time for you to go. No, stay at home until you
Yes.
figure it out. You know, stay here. And I'm guilty of that. With my oldest daughter, you know, I was like, oh, you off to college. We sent her off to college. And then she came back home, but she didn't like the rules at home because, you know, when you come home from college, you grown now. You think, you know. So she moved out. But I feel like that's a mistake that we made. We should have let her, you know, listen to her more and let her stay home a little longer, even though she's very successful, you know, she's doing good. But I feel like I don't like the fact that we throw them out there and then we say, you grown, forget about it. You
Right.
grown. No. We all need to keep those relationships alive. We all need to nurture those relationships because we don't want our kids, our very own being, to go astray from us, you know, and be absent and out there in trouble somewhere. You losing sleep. You don't know what's going on. So we need, as kids need their parents, and parents need their children, vice versa.
Yes.
So
Okay.
go ahead.
That's good.
I have an example of some of what you were talking about. When my daughter turned 18, she started clubbing.
Don't forget
She
they want to know who
Which
they.
one?
Which one?
That's
When
about-
when
yes.
Cookie
Mhm.
when Cookie Tanisha, Miss Jones, evangelist,
That's
when
me.
she got turned 18, she started clubbing.
I did. Mm-hmm.
She would come in and out of the house whenever she felt like it. And at times, her
Didn't
father
I?
would tell me, she went out and left the door unlocked at 3 a.m. in the morning. And I said, okay. He found alcohol in her drawer. And he was going to throw it away. And I told him, no, she's grown. Put it back in there. You don't drink? No, I don't. But let's put it back. We're not going to throw it away. I'm going to talk to her. So we had a conversation. I told her, you're grown. You think you're grown.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing things that goes contrary to our rules.
Mhm.
So it's time for you to find a place to go. I
Mm.
said, two grown women cannot live together.
Mhm.
So you need to find a place to go. So she called her grandma. Her grandma told her, your mother didn't say that. And she called me to tell me, Cookie is telling people you put her out. I said, I didn't actually put her out, but I did tell her it was time for her to go. So my daughter moved in with some friends, and something happened. I can't remember how long they stayed gone. Something happened. They each had to leave. And she called me and I said, okay, yeah, come on home. And I said, where is your friend going? And I said, hopefully home to his mom. And she said, yeah, he going to go back down there. And then the other, I think it was like 3 or 4 roommates.
Mm-hmm.
And they all went home. And that's what we're supposed to. We're not supposed to be a handicap. We're not supposed to
Right.
handicap our children. But we can be, I like to say, a net that catches them when they fall.
Yes,
And then
that's
give
good.
them a hand up.
Yes.
So we don't throw our children away when they get grown. But yet and still, if you're a grown person living with your parents, they have rules.
Yes.
And that's to help you to hurry up and get out.
And
You
when
know,
I
so you can
say-
stand on your own 2 feet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to just clarify this story because she
Okay.
told it so sweet,
She did.
Mhm.
you know, and so nice. Yeah, they told me I had to leave. 2 grown people can't live in the same house. 2 adult women can't live together. But when I came home, they didn't really have to say nothing because my dad had my whole bedroom in the hallway.
Mhm.
My mattress was upside the wall. My bed frame was up upside the wall. Everything was lined up in the hallway. I was like, well, tell me to get out. What they say? Tell me to get out without
Without
telling me to
telling
get
me.
out. Because I seen it in the hallway. Like, oh, what's going on here? What are we remodeling?
That's because
That
this
was funny.
man, whenever I said something, he willing to jump on it, especially if it's like, I'm disciplining the girls. He had to jump on it. So when I said she had to go, He said, okay, let me help her. Let me take her bed down so it's easy for her to get it out. You know. So, yeah, he jumped. He did. He
Tell
jumped
me
on
to
that.
get out without telling me to
And
get
I
out.
wasn't trying to push her out like that, but it was time to go because we didn't drink. Either one of us at that time, we didn't drink. The rule was, you're grown. I'm not going to tell you not. If you want a club. And the reason why I didn't care about that is because I had angels on my side.
Mhm.
I am a Christian. I'm a believer, and I live I walk the talk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just say things. So if she was in the club, I said my angels. If she was out doing something, you know, I know God got her. In the beginning, I did do a lot of praying, Lord, you know, this, and God was telling me all the time, let me have her. And I still wanted to put my hands in it. I'm praying, Lord, keep her safe, get her away from this person. Don't let her go to that place. And finally, it hit the head. This is when it hit. I don't know if she remembers this. My mother was visiting, and she said Cookie was walking up towards our apartment, looking like she had been in the club. And my mother said, and she loved Cookie. That was her favorite of my children.
Yep.
She said, Cookie, I've been praying for you. Why you praying for me? Everybody talking about praying for me. Don't be praying for me. Pray for yourself. I said, whoa. Okay.
She was fed
This
up.
is how it's going now.
Mhm.
So we had the conversation. Now, I had been telling William that, okay, I'm going to talk to her. We got to, because I don't want you going off on her, and I don't want stuff to happen. We need to leave a door open. But when she said that, it's really time to go. And I let her know you hurt your grandmother's feelings. And can I say this while I'm saying that too? There is a scripture that says to honor your father and your mother.
Mm-hmm.
The scripture doesn't say if they're the best parent to honor them. It didn't say if they show you honor to honor them. The scripture did not say if they were good to honor them. It says honor them. No matter what kind of parent you have, you honor them. And not to really talk about people or talk against a person, but my raising, the way I grew up is totally different from the way I raised my children.
Mm-hmm.
I honor my mother. I do my best not to come against her hard. I don't let her think that wrong is right. But I honor my mother, and I give her respect. I value her. And the word of God, honor, when you break it down from the Hebrew, is I think it's kader or kadim. That's the Hebrew word, and when you break it down from the Hebrew, it translates into to value, and it says great respect.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you search it even more, it says this is what God is saying when He says honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying he said they are acting like when you honor your mother and father, you are acting like God is living with you and you're honoring Him.
Mm-hmm.
He says that they act like I'm dwelling with them and they're giving me honor, great respect. So when you, in your life, in the life of children, we take the place, the physical place of God in their lives. And so when you honor your parents, you're honoring God. And so you don't, no matter what type of parent that you have, God still wants you to honor Him, and not for them, but for yourself.
Amen.
The scripture says that thy days may be long
Amen.
for yourself. So I just wanted to say that.
But it also
Amen.
says for the parents not to provoke the kids either.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's right. It says fathers
Okay.
do not
Yep.
provoke.
You
Cookie
better
said
pray.
that earlier.
Children anchor.
Do not provoke your kid. Do
Mhm.
not
Provoke
Uh,
your children to wrath.
To wrath.
to wrath.
Mhm.
To not provoke your children to wrath. And
Mhm.
this is when they're talking about provoking. That's not disciplining you. That's not telling you what you need to do. Provoking is I'm constantly messing with you about
Mhm.
nothing. Constantly on your
Mhm.
case
Mm-hmm.
about any little thing. You walk in the house. Why do you walk in like that?
Mm-hmm.
You walk in a different way. Why are you walking like that?
Mm-hmm.
And every time you come in, it's something. How come you didn't wash the dishes? Well, I did. It's dirty dishes in here. Well, this is another day. You know, constantly on you. Oh, you're ugly, you stupid, you dumb, you're crazy. That's provoking your children, picking on your children.
Yep.
Oh, you look so ugly today.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what you have on. Well, you going out looking like a tramp. That's provoking. That's provoking. If I tell you, I need you to come in at this time, no matter what I'm saying, how I say it, I need you to be in by 12. And then when you in, before you go out, I need you to wash these dishes. That's not provoking, but it will provoke you because you don't want to do it. It'll make you angry. They trying to tell me what I want. That's not what the Bible is talking about. You know that. But just picking on you, always being unfair. And parents can be unfair, being unjust. Parents can be unjust. Oh,
Yeah.
You got me started. I leaned back. I saw the look on Angel's face. So let me bring it really back in.
Like, what?
No.
Yeah, parents, Gramsci, don't provoke me right now.
No, it wasn't that look. It was that Gramsci on a roll. There she goes. Yeah, that's the look I was getting.
That provoking
There
too.
she
I wanted to
goes.
add to that. You know, that's actually
Yeah.
like provoking them to when it says don't provoke them to wrath, don't provoke them to anger,
Yeah.
and causing them to get anger and built up anger or whatever that they respond and react. And it's just I learned that means avoiding, if we as parents, if we don't want to, and fathers, because it specifically talks
It's
about fathers
specifically-
not
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
It says parents, but particularly the fathers, don't provoke your children to wrath. And that means don't let me. That means that it's just basically avoiding any action that may discourage you.
Yes.
You know, or
Yes.
Yes.
right, or just that would just cause my child to be discouraged.
Yeah.
Like mom just said, oh, you ugly, you stupid, or whatever. Get in there and do this. Oh, you can't clean good enough, or
Right.
or you
Yes.
didn't do that right. Oh, you can't learn it. You don't know how to learn. When the teacher teaching you, you got a problem. We need to get you test. Just for example, But and that could cause our kids to go astray. I'm really, really big on this because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yes.
And it's very passionate. I'm passionate about it, and it's really heavy on my heart because I'm seeing families that are disconnected, and he's coming for the family. He tries to discourage, and I want, if we could just say anything to encourage you to lean in and don't run away. Children, don't run from your parents, or don't run away from them and give them grace. And parents, the vice versa. Don't
chase them away.
Right, don't chase your kids away, and that's what, like Angel just said, the Bible does also say don't provoke your kids to wrath. Let's
Yes.
not continue to do things to discourage our children. Let's end what we need to do, and what we need to put, if we could think of anything to something to add to our lives to be better. I always look for a way every day to where I can add something to be better, because that's growth. We don't do the same things every day. When we wake up, it's another opportunity that we have. Another day we have with another opportunity to be better than we was the day before. That day is gone. We may have made a mistake that day, but that day is gone. It's a new day to try again to get it right. So I'm looking for, if we could look for ways to encourage one another, and in relationships, encourage our children, encourage and children. And when you get to be adults, you can help encourage your parents, because they have a hard job, and working and raising you and whatever. But I want to go. Did y'all have anything y'all want to add to that before we move
Yes.
on? Because I do have some questions.
Before, I just wanted to say that me growing up, my dad provoked me
Oh,
Yes.
all the
Yes.
time. Like, he would do things like, okay, Cookie, read the Bible. She would say in the beginning. Okay, Squirt, read the Bible. God created the heavens and earth. Okay, Brandy, read the Bible. And then I would go into the next verse. Keep reading, keep reading, keep reading. I would have to read like the whole chapter. And then I remember one day he asked me to bring him some water. I was like, I don't know why he's picking on me all the time. Bring me some water. I brought him a cup of water. He was like, bring me a bigger cup. I brought him a bigger cup, and he was like, this is not enough. So I went and got a pitcher, like a Kool-Aid jug, and filled it up with water and brought to him. And he looked at me and he said, now you know good and well I'm not about to drink that. And because I was trying to be funny, because he was aggravating me. I was like 15 at the time. I took it back, brought him a cup of water. He was just constantly like picking on me. And I was like, I do not know like what to do. And that put anger in me. It just caused me to be angry all the time. And when I got saved, when I was 17, and I felt like I'm healed, I'm delivered, I'm good or whatever. I'm not angry anymore. And then I had children. The demon that jumped on my back when I was a little kid, I'm thinking I was delivered from it. And then when I had children, here it comes again, reappearing. And that's when like all the anger just coming out. I'm just yelling for no reason. And I asked Angel one time, I was like, we were talking about me yelling. She was like, I don't remember you ever yelling at us. And I was like, thank God, because I would go in the room and cry at night, like, Lord, help me. This is like, it was like a burden. Look, help me with this. I don't want to talk. I don't want to yell at my kids. My parents didn't do that to us, but the anger was there, and it was just constantly just coming up. And not just because of them, but because what I was going through. I didn't know how to separate what I'm going through in this marriage with their dad to raising them and loving them, whatever. And it was just like clashing. I didn't realize, I didn't know until after a while that this, like, these are your children, they didn't do this to you or whatever, but the anger was just there. And that's because I was provoked as a child. But I just thank God that she was like, I don't remember you yelling at us. And I was just like, oh my goodness, thank God, because that's one thing that I would cry about it, thinking back on how the enemy would try to like condemn you, and I would still be like, Lord, I just feel so bad. And I would apologize to them, but it was just something in me that bothered me so much. But I thank God that she was like, I don't remember you yelling. I was like, wow, God is a deliverer for real and a healer for real. So that's what I want to say. And okay, you can go, because I was.
I wanted to add to something. I don't remember when y'all said it, but even as far as your Cookie was talking about, I think people leaving and families being torn apart. You're just like she said, on the flip side, the children, the parents need the children. The parents need to also make a safe space for your children to be able to come to you. Because I remember my mom and dad asking us at a young age, are we scared of them? And I remember telling my mom, like, no, I'm not scared of you. But with my dad, are you scared of him? Yeah, I'm scared of him. And my mom didn't want that. I don't know if my dad did, but I know my mom was like, I don't want y'all to be scared of us. I want y'all to be able to come to us and tell us things and share things with us. And but because of the environment, we knew, okay, I can go to my mom, I can say this, but we knew I couldn't go to my dad and say certain things. But we needed that. But because he wasn't open or emotionally mature enough to be able to handle all that, we couldn't go and do that. And so that made it hard even for us. And I just think that you need to allow that place to be safe for them to want to come and talk to you about anything. And when they do share those things, lock it in the vault. It's sometimes my children will tell me something, and if they tell their other siblings, okay. If they don't, when it comes to me, it's just like it's new all over again. They'll tell me in front of them, and they'll say, well, my mama already knew. And they were like, oh, you knew? Yeah, I knew. But that wasn't my place to say anything to you about that. And so I think that's also a avenue that we can have open for our children and have that dialogue, because I've always wanted to be the best version that I can be for them. Have I gotten it right all the time? No. Have I messed up several times? Yes. Will I continue to mess up? Yes, I will. But at the end of the day, I know that they know that I love them. I know that they know that I have their back, and I'm going to be there. But one thing I always did too was be honest. I may not like what you did, but I still love you. I may not like the way you behave, but I still love, because people used to say, oh, you could tell which kids don't get disciplined at home. That was a lie, because I was running amok and I got disciplined at home. But when people would say that, I was like, that is not necessarily true. You just have some that will go against the grain. Right. And they know. I knew when I got home it was going down, but I'm going to do this. I want to do this. But when I get home, I'm going to suffer the consequences later. But that's not always the case. And so I just think with our children, and not just even y'all grown now, but even with them, I can look at all of them, my nieces, my nephews, and I'm proud. I can look at them and just be like, wow, like you said, it takes a village. I never got mad when my children was like, I talked to Aunt Brandy, I talked to Aunt Cookie, or I talked to Grandma or somebody else, and it may have been something that I may not have known. As long as you're talking to somebody that you can trust, Somebody that we trust, that's fine. It's not what goes on in this house stays in this house. Because sometimes things that are going on in the house don't need to be going on in the house.
Exactly.
And somebody needs to know what's going on. And so we're not keeping this private. There are certain things that we will keep private, but certain things are not, because it needs to be out there. And so that didn't bother me, because I knew if they came to you, they were coming to somebody that was going to give them sound doctrine, that was going to give them the truth, that was not going to water down, but that was also going to love them. I knew if they came to you, they were going to get the real raw, the uncut, but they were going to still get love even in the midst of that. It wasn't going to be a beaten down or, you know, so when that happens, they need to know, like, okay, this is my safe place, and I can go to other people, because we've, like you said, we've helped raise one another. And I, even with Cavandria, like, I remember the first time God told me to tell her something, and I was like trying to go in there like I always go, Amy's baby, da da da. She's 16. That's my baby. That's Amy's baby. And God was like, tell her like I told you to tell her. And I was like, oh God. So she knew when I had said what I had to say that it was coming from God. It wasn't me, because of the way that I had to tell her, because I would normally be coming in all lovey huggy and all, but I had to be like, hey, this is this and that, blah blah. And she knew. Then she said, man, I knew it was serious when you said it like you said it. And so even being a parent, you have to know every advice or the life-changing events, or even the wisdom and things that your children have, it's not always coming from you. It's gonna come from those around you. It's gonna come, and when you have a great tight-knit family or friends, you're gonna have some people that they may feel more comfortable with going to about this thing. And I've had children to come to me about certain things, and I told them, as long as it's nothing detrimental, as long as it's nothing that your parents don't need to know, it's staying locked in the vault. But if it's something that they need to know, I will go with you. So I think that's important too.
That's good.
That's good, because we do, and we can't get offended.
Yeah.
You know, some parents get offended because the kid has a different adult to go to or whatever, and not to them. We can't, as parents, get offended because they may be at a point, we know they go through adolescence, they go through teenage years, and they go to the stage where they don't want to hear it from us, or they don't want to, oh, you always talking, or we're not just the best of friends at that time. You know, their hormones are all over the place. You know, you know, they're up and down, they're going through changes. You know, and at that point, it's so great to have somebody else that they can go to and talk to. You know, I even have my daughter has a great teacher at school, and I brought her up a couple of times, and I'm gonna bring her up today, because a lot of times, you know, and they love her. They decided that she's not going anywhere. She's stuck for life. I don't know if she really wanted that, but hey, it is what it is. And not just my child, but she's a teacher that to where half of the students love her and want to be around her at all times, and they go to her for a lot of things, and she corrects them. She tell them the truth now. Like, no, she pull them to the side, tell them, and she's also there, you know, as a listening ear, you know, and I appreciate that, to have a teacher, you know, like that cares about all the children. They have a joke right now that maybe my daughter is her favorite, but that's not true. The way she talks about all of them, and the way that she loves on them, the way that she cares about their well-being. Like, my daughter was in trouble with her grades. She pulled her to the side. No, you're going to eat lunch with me. And she got her the help that she needed and worked with her, you know. And it's so good that, like they say, it does take a village.
It does.
It's good to have other people that are not causing them to go down the wrong path, but that are giving them sound counsel, you know, wisdom, or even like they have like the mentorship programs. You know, we want to make sure we have somebody that's biblically sound, you know, that's mentoring them, you know, and not causing them to go wrong. But it's good to have like we helped raise. I even with my cousin, she had 4 kids, and I kind of lived with her off and on through my ups and downs of life. But I helped her with her raising her kids. I didn't have kids at the time, but I also was able to help, and that taught me to, when I got kids, you know, some things I learned from that, you know. So when I did have kids, that I actually helped raise some kids beforehand, you know. And I know the ups and downs and the things that they go through, because each one of her four were entirely different, like the opposites. But anybody else? Because I do have some questions.
I was gonna say this real quick. Sometimes when we have been disciplined, like we'll step in when the other person is disciplined, because sometimes you might be like, okay, that's maybe a little bit too much. Like you doing a little, or sometimes we right in there co-signing,
Yes.
what your mama said, or,
Yes.
yes, get over there and sit down.
Yes.
Brandon did not mind. Brandon would discipline kids on the street, like you driving down, get out the road. Why are you in there? And I'm like, Lord, why is she talking to these people, kids? But we didn't mind like stepping in. Sometimes Cookie's on the phone with Eris, and I'm like, yeah, you heard your mama, or you heard what my sister said, or whatever the case may be. And I know they probably like, oh,
and I'm
Lord,
like, y'all need to let up off my cousin.
yes.
Y'all doing too much.
So
Well,
we
y'all-
all chime in when it comes to that, and we don't mind helping or assisting, and not just when it comes to discipline. Like that, you learn in the house chores, you learn respect, you learn values, you learn. So if somebody's saying something, what did you say? Like we're literally stepping in. Like that's not how you're raised. Even with Big growing up with the girls, like he knew his job was to open the doors. He would have a fit. If one of them tried to touch that door, open that door, he would get so mad. And because that was his job. I'm opening this door. I'm holding the door open for y'all. So just even with things like that, and we would get out the way and let him do it.
And
He
we didn't
knew
teach
that
him
was his
that.
job. Yes.
God taught
Yeah.
him that since he was 2 years old.
Yes.
He's been holding doors for us.
Yes.
and
See?
other things. And
Gentlemen.
and
Somebody said it's true.
not only did y'all help in that manner, but remember the interventions.
Yes.
I need you to come over here because we about to talk to this girl. We about to
Yes.
tell this whoever.
Yes.
And everybody would be in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody would have something to say. And then if you did not listen or didn't understand what we were saying, we all backing you up in the discipline area. So it was
boot
not
camp.
just that.
A boot camp for real.
It was.
Right. It was even that, because that's something that I felt like was a very good thing. That was one of the things that I said, that if I had that type of support, if I had a village, I would have wanted to implement that in raising y'all.
Yes.
The interventions, for me they were fun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they were funny.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got your point across, and they had it from 3 or 4 different views if I was there
Yes.
for, So that's something too that parents can implement that helps so much in raising your children. And
Even with the fact, sorry, but even
Go
with
ahead.
the fact that all of us are different, and some of our children maybe that was something, because I saw Shaye put on there that she felt the same way you felt, like with the anger and being like, why am I being provoked by my dad? Because she dealt with that. She went through that. So we would even share, and even still now, like, okay, well, let me talk to this person because I went through that, or
Yes.
I dealt with that when
Yes.
it comes to certain, because I believe my nephews, they act so much like me. Like, I love it. I get they never cease to disappoint me. They are just quick with it, and then sometimes I be like, hey, chill out a little bit. Like, but I get excited about that. But then my niece Eris is so much. Sometimes I be like, boy, they finally got somebody like me, and but I can understand and I can relate when it comes to certain things. And my sister's like, Lord, I don't know why, but I'm thinking in my head because this, that, and she's like, that's what she said. I know, because I went through it. And so when you were saying that, I saw Shaye put that in the chat, like, because I remember her saying she felt like she was picked on or provoked by her dad a lot because she looked so much like me. And it was always like, every time stuff would go down, I would be gone and I would get back home, and it was just like, oh my God. And she dealt with that as well. So we could, with everyone, because my children act like my sisters.
They do.
I mean, they got a little bit of me in them, but they act like my sisters. And so it was things that they went through even as growing up that they could talk to Cookie about, and she was able to help them with that. So I just think even in that aspect too, being like, okay, well, I know what's going on with them, or I can relate to that or whatever. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yes, I wanted to go back to something that you said, because something you said, Mama, about like as our kids get older, it's kind of hard for us sometimes not to get in it, not to put our hands in it. We have to realize that they are adults, and that is like the toughest thing. You think
It's tough.
that when they are children that it is hard.
Oh, Lord.
But as they grow up, the prayers get stronger because you want them to do everything that you taught them. Like the Bible says, raise them up in the way that they should go, and when they're older, they will not depart from it. That's you want them to do that right off the bat. But they need to live their lives, and they need to build their
Build their
character and be who God called them to be.
Building their testimony.
And, yes, and
Yes.
sometimes that is like the toughest thing. And I remember Angel, and you can comment to this. Like she would say, "I'm gonna go to wherever a party, or me and my friends are gonna go to Mexico or whatever," and she would tell us, and me and my mama immediately start praying every time, like, "If that's your will, Lord."
Yeah.
If not,
I
and
always
it's-
prayed his will against me.
Just pray for my protection.
Just cover you
Trying to
and
have
go.
fun
Don't
with
say,
you.
don't let it
Don't
happen.
do all that.
She said,
She would pray the hardest for me not to go out. Like,
Not-
I'm just going to the grocery store, and she's like, "Lord, if His will."
she
We
said
were
she
praying.
stopped telling me
Exactly.
things because every time she would tell me, she wouldn't get to go. And I said, that was God.
Yeah, she was like, "Why do I always hear you in my head every time I get ready to do something?" Because it's God telling you. And thank God that she listens to God and she knows she's His sheep and she follows
Yes.
His voice or whatever, because she's gotten not getting into things, because what would have happened if she had a gone or whatever. But we were constantly like praying. She's like, "I can't do nothing."
And the angel that manifested when she was at that concert and it was so much stuff going on and this man just was there.
Yes.
And he was protecting her, and I think it was somebody else with you. You remember that? When
You're
I forget what, like it was like I forget what the thing was, a big old something
Mhm.
that they had, a music thing,
Mhm.
and it was like a crush or something. And this guy was just, keeping people back in a way. And I said that was an angel because we prayed.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
One
but-
thing too that I love is I noticed with my girls, I would always say, they would tell me, "Hey mom, can I go such and such?" I'm like, "Yeah." When they got there, they would let me know, "Hey, I'm here," blah blah. They and kids don't always want it, but Star was notorious for change of plans. We're going to Walmart, and I'm like, "Okay, we just made it to Walmart. Okay, we're still in Walmart. Okay, now we're getting in the car." I'm like, "Enjoy your friends." Like,
You know, I am at all times. Matter of fact, look at my location.
Look at your location. And this was before we could look at locations, but it was like every step of the way. And I was just like, you know what? I appreciate that
Gives
because
peace of mind.
it did. It did. Because
Gave
like
me
you
peace
said,
of mind, too.
yeah.
Like just having somebody there, you know.
Mhm.
To know where you are, to know what's going on, and sometimes I would be like, okay, where are y'all going? And I know sometimes they didn't always like that, but I need to know where you're going. I need to know who you're going with. I need to know them who I need to know the family members. I need to know, like, we need to know this because you're not going to be on the news. Have me on the news.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And then they was like, "Who was your daughter with?" "Oh, somebody named Shay." "Who is Shay?" I don't know, but they look like this. And no, I need to know.
Yes,
Yeah.
Angel would send me take a picture of the license plate,
Love
and like
it.
she would go real deep and be like, "Because I'm not about to be
I'm
kidnapped."
not
She
about
out.
to get kidnapped.
That's my niece.
For anything. They can
But
get me if I'm
that's-
small.
Get
Put
your
me in the
little,
truck pretty easy.
You're not kidnapping
They're
me.
not taking me.
you can fit in the
Ever.
trunk.
Trunk, the back seat, anywhere. They're not taking me.
That's just
Easy to be snatched up
Yes.
Not you.
Nope.
That's a
if I leave the
testament
house.
to the relationship that you guys have now. I hold
Yes.
my kids, I got babies, so
They
when you
will.
get up, please let me know.
They have big cousins for that.
Oh.
You're fine.
Okay,
You got
y'all
it.
got it.
They do.
Return the favor.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry, I just want to say it's different with a boy because he's trying to be a man, like he's growing into manhood, and all we could do is like pray, God help him to be the man that you called him to be. But with him, I just want so much, and I'm just like, Micah, no, those not your friends. No, like I want to say something. He's like, Mama, like I know, like he's quick to tell me, like, will you stop? I got this. What do you think I don't know? You don't have to tell me this again. So we have those conversations, and I'm like, okay, I'm backing off.
Trust your razor.
Yes,
I'm not.
yes.
Trust your razor.
You got
Y'all
this.
did a great job.
Yeah.
I'm
What'd you
not
say,
backing
Micah?
I
up for
said you
him.
did raise me right. I know.
Yeah.
That's what he says all the time.
We gotta
too.
trust the razor.
Yeah,
We
and
gotta
God told
trust
me.
it.
God
Yes.
told me I got them, and so that's one thing that I had to. Okay, God, you said you got them,
Mhm.
so
I look.
Back
I
off.
told you earlier. I'm a testament now because I was in those clubs I was drinking that drink.
She was being Tyson.
I was doing whatever I thought I was big enough to do. I was going to do it, and my parents didn't know. So
I think my parent knows too much.
I felt like my parent knew too much, and then God was telling her everything, and I was negotiating with God, like, don't tell her, I'll tell her. But then I was also talking to him, like, why you keep telling her all this stuff? I'm trying to live my life. I want to sin a little bit. I want to do a little other stuff. And even if I was trying to do what's right, you got to tell her everything.
Yeah. I think she's like, okay, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, no, I need to tell you the rest of this.
Yes.
She's probably tired of me telling her too much.
Yeah,
TMI. And I'm like, what?
She tells me everything. She's like, no, you're going to listen to this lady.
You want to be in my business.
Like, you
want to
brought
be a
me
part.
here.
You want this healthy relationship.
Yeah.
But let me lay this on you. Let me tell you about this.
You brought me
and
on
when
this
they're
earth,
telling
she
you-
has to listen to me.
Yeah, when they're telling you can't freeze up, because
Yes.
sometimes they tell me stuff that I don't want to. I mean, I appreciate the
Yes.
relationship,
No,
but
no.
sometimes it's a little bit much, and outwardly I'm like,
Mhm.
inwardly I'm cringing, like,
Mhm.
No.
She cringes
We
out
know
at me.
you
Oh, yeah,
freak out.
I do.
No, as from the auntie with the kids, all of them talk to me. And I just sometimes feel like the lines of the auntie, niece, and nephew relationship have crossed
Been
the
crossed.
boundaries. Like, hold on, back. I
You
know
don't
we
get
could.
boundaries.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I got an
The aunt
obligation.
gets everything.
So
The
there's no
village.
boundaries. Like
The
I
village
get
gets it.
a lot that I can't take
Thank
in. I'm
you.
like, really?
Yes.
I'm like, what? And that oldest one of yours, oh my lord, Shaye. I was like, man, I don't know if we should. This is something that
she
you
just said I tell you
should have.
everything.
I'm like, Shaye, wait, let's pump the brakes, you know? and look, hold on. Between her and Brashay, I'm like, wait now, I didn't ask for this. I don't think I want
how I am.
this much. I do want to be
You
there for
signed
you.
up
Badge of
for it.
honor.
Yes, you did.
I do
Yes.
want to, but some of the stuff, we're not best friends. Like, why I got to know all this? But
Y'all
hey.
are our little friends.
When
That's
they-
how I
we
feel.
graduate.
Yes,
Yeah.
when they were teenagers, like they would come home and talk, and I inwardly in my head, I'm like, just listen to it, because as they get older, you're going to want an open relationship. You want them to talk to you as they get older. So I would just sit there and just listen. In my head, I'm like, man, can y'all hurry up? Like, but I would just smile at them, and I was like, I'm not gonna like say it, even though I'm like being impatient, because that was my issue. I was being very impatient. I wanted them to hurry up and get to the point.
Yeah.
And Angel, like Cookie, when she told the story, you're gonna hear the beginning.
all the
Okay, so
details.
what happened?
Girl.
At 10:48, I walked in.
Yeah.
I sat down.
I was
So,
wearing a
so
blue
she
shirt.
gave.
I look to the left.
Yes, she gave all the details, and in my head, I'm like, get to it. But I just let them talk. Just talk, get it out, because now, like, we talk.
And she's like,
Yes.
okay, I have to go.
Yes.
But that's good. It's good that you have. Not everybody has that. So
That's
that's
right.
a testament to how you did a good job as a mother. You know that she still wants to come and talk to you like that. And even Micah, even though he said, okay, I got this, he still calls. Like
Yes.
he calls us. Let him.
So
He
funny.
calls and reports his day to all of us at the end of the day.
Yes.
When the day ends,
We all get it.
he
I
will let
love
us
it.
know what happened that was exciting or interesting or
Because he does not hold his tongue.
No.
This one here, like both my kids were like me, and I was like, Lord, I can't even be mad at them. They got the same mouth that they mama got. And this boy right here, he says things, and I'm like, you said that for real? Yeah, I said it. Like,
I'm sorry
look
if I
forward
hurt your
to those
feelings, but I'm
conversations.
not gonna lie to you though.
Yeah.
and that's
right.
good.
Mhm.
That's
right.
honorable. That's really good. You know, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And sometimes I think they have to learn how to cater it.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, the delivery. Because
Yeah.
right now, y'all pray for him.
I'm not
Put
good
your
with
hands
that.
over there. The delivery sometimes can be a little straight.
But it'll
straight, no change.
it will
Straight.
even out.
It will
It
even
will
out.
even
Look
out.
at me.
They needed
Yes.
to hear
Yeah,
it. though.
it'll even out, even
Yes.
with the sarcasm, because mine are very sarcastic, and they got that honest.
But I want to get to a few questions that we
Yes,
have
okay.
before we get out of here. So I do want to ask, and this is a two-part question. So I'm going to ask this as the first one is, what have you passed down from your mother to your children?
Ooh, that's for me.
Mm-hmm.
What if I passed? Okay, my child said she already would actually know my answer, but I have passed down the greatest thing that my mom ever gave us was
Let me say it.
What?
Jesus.
Yes, she gave us Jesus. She taught us about the Lord and the Word, and she loved us. My mom gave us so much love, and I think that's where I know that's where I get it from. when I pour all of that on my children. Like I want them to know that I love them every time when I get off the phone. I love you. When I'm getting on the phone, I love you. When they walking at the house, I love you. Blah.
Yes.
So I think just that love, knowing that they're loved, and also giving them Jesus is what I pass down.
I passed down being a warrior because my mama didn't play. She would come in our rooms at 3:00 in the morning, anointing our heads, and she wasn't like anointing, she was outwardly anointing, speaking in tongues, praying over us, protecting us. And I did the same thing to my kids growing up. And I remember one day Micah called me and he was like, "Mama, I was in the room and I heard a noise." And he was like, devil. And he said, I jumped up and I grabbed that oil and I started going through the house. I was like, I feel so proud. Like, I'm glad that you know how to fight and war in the spirit. Yes. So and both of them have done it. Angel will rebuke anything in a minute. Like, it was an 18-wheeler. Like, what was it? Tell the story about the 18-wheeler and how you rebuked
trying
it.
to run us over, and I had to rebuke it. And he didn't believe me.
He got out of the way, didn't he?
Like,
Yeah,
did you just-
he glid over. He said, I can't keep rebuking everything.
No,
but
not like can't, but I was confused because I'm like, did you just rebuke that 18-wheeler?
I had to go in his room and rebuke random things at night.
You have power in your mouth. Like, whatever we say, God gave us that. And that's what my mom taught us, and that's what I taught my children.
That's good. I just say mine is boldness, the confidence, because that's one thing, humbly speaking. I never had an issue with confidence.
Nope.
Growing up, because my mother poured into us and let us know you are the best.
Yes.
You are the apple of God's eye. There's nobody like you, And when I say my two children, my little ones, oh my God, the confidence is on 100,000.
It is.
They
They win, and they know they win.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's
Any
one.
child that says I want to go to Japan and I want to go to Miami for my birthday at their young age, very confident.
Very and why can't I have this?
Yes.
So I would say because and that's something that my mother passed down to us: being bold in who you are and your own identity, being authentically you, with no compromise. And no explanation, no apologies about it. Be you. So that's something that she taught me, and I didn't have a lack of confidence at all. And I'm not speaking arrogantly, but I'm just letting you know and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
I didn't have that because I was good with who I am, whether you liked me or not,
Yes.
or whether you accepted me or not. I'm good with the skin that I'm in. I'm happy with me being me, my good, my bad, my ups, my down, my trials and my errors, my bumping my head and learning my lesson and my growing, I'm okay. So that's something that right now I am really impressed with my kids because and the courageousness, because my daughter would go and do anything.
Yes, she
my
will.
son is about like his dad. He's gonna try anything, like a little daredevil. He will go out and think he can do it. I'm like, hold on, you just this big. Like you don't want to break a bone right now, And my daughter, she's very confident in anything she goes after. She does a lot of things, and she will go out and try and attempt to do, whether it's the stage, the play, the theater, or the acting or whatever. I get nervous when we go on set. I'm like, oh, you booked this job. We're going on set. I'm nervous, and she looking at me like, what?
Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
why? Don't, and like,
trying to get
basically,
like
don't
her.
put that off on me. I'm good. And she's ready to get there. I'm like, oh, you got it. No, she's good because she is an actress, and she's been doing it for a while. And she never gets nervous with that. She's confident in that lane that she's in. So I would say that that's something that, my mother, because she made sure that we knew who we are and nobody
she
could
did.
tear us down. And I
Did.
appreciate that.
Me too.
So, next question.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yes,
Miss
please. I'm sorry.
Pankaiser said that all year long, Eris has been rebuking things in third period.
Come on, Eris.
Rebuke it, Eris.
Shut it down.
That's the teacher. That's my bestie. My bestie teacher. That thank God for her, because Eris needed her.
to her classmates.
Come on now.
In Jesus'
Yeah, that's
name.
She get that from her auntie. That's the part where she acts like her aunt.
Yes.
So the next thing is, question is, what's the most valuable thing your mother has passed down to you? I guess we just answered that.
Yeah. Valuable.
Whatever. But I want to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most valuable thing that your mother has passed down to you?
Jesus.
Just building that relationship with God. It's more than just like going to church. it's an actual relationship, and you know, the foundation for everything.
Amen.
So thank you.
Amen.
Hey.
Oh, and look, sorry.
No, you got it.
My mom's love walk is incredible, and I
Man.
just look
Yes,
up
it
to her,
is.
and yeah,
Yes, it is.
She
Love it.
is.
loving people. I
She
feel
is
like
very
that's
much
it.
so.
Get it from her
Mhm.
mama.
Yeah.
Thank you, girl.
Very much so. I learned about love, and actually, I'm gonna let you go. But I learned love through watching your mother, her love walk, because
Yes.
she is very accepting and very loving and welcoming. And a lot of people run to her for advice and counsel a lot of the time, but that's because they know she's a safe place, and she's gonna love you regardless of how dirty or how messed up you are. The love is not gonna go away. She's gonna still show you love.
Thank you,
So
God.
I learned that through watching your mother. You know, and I learned. Because I wasn't an expressive person to show it. I learned how to show it and express it through watching
Yes.
her.
Thank you, God.
Angel, what's
That's wonderful.
We're gonna go to Biggie. I need to think about. I forgot the
Okay.
question.
Oh, the question is, what's the most valuable thing your mother has passed down to you?
Okay.
I don't know. I was gonna say my mouth.
That's
Because
valuable.
I
it's
love it.
Yes.
it's
That's
helped me a lot in life. You know, I'm not afraid to tell people what I'm thinking or how they're
Mhm.
acting,
That's good.
and so I guess she passed that down to me because she is the same way.
Yeah.
That's
She
good
is.
being
Not
honest.
on my
She's a very
level,
honest
but-
person. If you don't want the truth, don't ask her.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
that's a good trait. That's a good characteristic.
You're gonna
You know.
you're going to get it anyway.
Yeah, right.
That's
You are.
Ask or not, you're gonna get it.
Right. So that's a good thing.
It
you
is a
know,
good trait.
we know that you will always speak the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You always be honest, and no matter how it hurt, because you know how they say the truth hurts.
Yes.
That's actually true. Sometimes
It
the truth
does.
does hurt,
Mhm.
but it also helps and it heals.
Yeah.
So if
Sets
you
you
don't
free.
know, you don't know what to do or where you need to make the changes and grow. But if you know the truth shall make you free.
Amen.
Yes.
Can I
That-
say this? I want to
Mhm.
say this real quick. Shaye says same thing that Stardy said, although she added how to be a great wife,
Oh.
That's
friend,
good.
etc. My mom is amazing.
That's good,
Oh.
Shaye.
Gotta
Shaye's on
work
my-
hard.
Thank you, Breezy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the list goes on.
Shaye
is.
is Ashley's
Right.
oldest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you,
Um,
Breezy.
I think I'm gonna say the same thing that Biggie said, or like she passed down honesty because like telling the truth and things like that,
Yes.
and like how hard of a worker she is.
Yeah.
We may not agree with working as hard as she does, but like, we
She's like a real
really
life Barbie.
admire her work
Barbie,
ethic
what's she doing everything?
and like her honesty, because I never lie, like I never have and I never will,
Mhm.
and I think that was because it was something that I was taught growing up.
Mhm.
So
Thank
probably
you.
that.
And you know what I love about that is because y'all lived in the house with her.
Mhm.
So you got to see what other people didn't see. And for you to share that testament, this is saying this is what was modeled before me.
Right.
I'm not just here because I got a script. Because one thing we are with our children, like Micah just said, Big, because that's what we call him, like Big
Big.
just said, telling the truth. Like, I'm not going to lie or sugar. I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to tell you what's real. So they're not up here making a facade. This is real. We have real life
yeah.
stuff going on. But the fact that you can say that is because that's what was modeled and at home behind
Yes.
closed doors. And what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And like
my-
I said earlier, your life is, they pattern our lives, So if we
that's
live in
right.
foul, then they're going to pick up foul habits.
Exactly.
And if we're acting foul, speaking foul, have foul characteristics, they're going to model, they're like sponges.
Mhm.
Our kids are like sponges. They absorb, whatever's around them, whatever's being presented to them. So some of this stuff, we can't get mad about our kids. We got to take accountability because they got it from somewhere.
That's right.
That's why I said the sarcasm. That came from me. I cannot. One day Star said something, and I was like, oh my God, why is she so sarcastic? And I was in the restroom, and I was like, she got that from you. And she did. But I when I was pregnant with Shaye, I'll never forget, I was 9 months pregnant, 19 years old. It had to come from God for me to say this. But I was in trouble, bad, fighting all the time, all this stuff. And I remember laying my hands on my stomach, and I'm like, I'm getting ready to have this daughter. I want to be an example for her. I want to be somebody that she can look up to. And I was like, Lord, please help me. Because I couldn't do it on my own. But I needed his help to become the mother that they can talk about to this day.
Mhm.
But if I was the person that I was before then,
Mhm.
they wouldn't be able to say the things. And then they picked up some traits that I have along the way, like I said, with the sarcasm and the
Right.
smart mouth, and that was something that I had to work on along the way because that was not a positive trait.
Right.
Just as Jesus tells us to follow his example,
Mm-hmm.
we're following Jesus's example, and we are instilling those same things into our children, and that way they can follow his example. That's very important.
I
Can
want to.
say
Yes, go
something?
ahead.
I want to
Charmaine
say
said
from
something.
and Cookie, you've also taught me to be bold and confident, and especially in like the business aspect
Yeah.
with me starting, to do hair on the side,
Mhm.
being just confident in my work and
Yes,
staying
girl.
stern in my prices. So
Yes, ma'am.
you
Yes.
helped me a lot.
Oh,
too.
Yes,
thank
Both
you.
of y'all.
That's good.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, because
Yes,
Brandy
'cause you're
said you
doing
need
it.
to raise them prices.
Right.
Yeah.
You doing it. Yeah, I'm happy about. Thank you for
I agree
sharing
with that
Yes.
too. Plus Eris, like we all look up to Eris.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though she's only like 10 or 11,
yeah.
like her confidence is up there, and we want to be like her.
Be
I
like
do.
Eris, the older kid is
I'm
looking
gonna
up.
work with her one day.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because, honey, I don't know. That child's there, okay?
she's doing
Can
big
I say this?
things.
Mookie said she
That's
would have to say that I taught her how to forgive
Ooh.
and
yes.
how to love. So I want to just add that on there because
Oh,
that's what
that's
she put on
good.
there.
We have about a few minutes, and I want to go ahead and ask this question. And it's a twofold question, so answer it together. How because you guys have older kids. They're actually adults now. They're not kids anymore. They're adults. So how was it raising your children, then transitioning from kids to adults? That's the A part of it. And then B part of that are what boundaries were placed.
Okay, you might have to give me the B part after I answer A again.
You got 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't even need that long. Okay, first question again. What?
How was it raising your children,
Mhm.
then having them transitioning from kids to adults?
Okay, raising my children was fun. It was really fun raising my children. It was my children showed me so much love. I knew without a shadow of doubt, still know that my girls love me. My mom used to say it all the time, them girls love their mom, and I know that, and they didn't make it extremely hard for me. There were some challenges, like I said, but for the most part, they obeyed, they listened, they did what I told them to do. Every now and then I had to critique some things, and I had to change some things up because it wasn't working. But going from a young child to adulthood, I thought as a child that man, this is hard. This is gonna raising them. But when they got older, like you said, that's when it got real. Like they're grown now, they're making their own decisions. You not when they're babies, you're there watching them take a step off the porch or something. You're right there to help them. But when they're grown, like they're over there, you're on the outside watching. It's not so much as do this, do that, don't do this, don't. It's just like, man, I hope they make the right choice. I hope that. But even if they don't, like my mom said earlier, we can still be that net when they fall. I love when you said that, and give them a helping hand. Give them a hand up. So I think transitioning, I had to learn to get out of the way, to take a step back. I remember when Shia was 19 or 20, she was asking me, can I do this? Can I blah, blah. It was just basically like she used to growing up, Mama, can I go? And I finally told her, you don't have to ask me if you can do this, and that. Just let me know where you're going to be. Just let me know, hey, I'm good. I'm over here. I'm blah, blah. But I was like, and when I was getting ready to have that conversation, it was so hard for me. But with her, it prepared me for the other two. And so I was like, you don't have to ask me if you can do anything. You're an adult now. Do whatever you as long as you use discretion and you do the right things.
Right.
But I had to let go.
Yeah.
And I think the letting go was the hard part. But it's also a blessing in it because that takes that weight and that pressure off you. I don't really have to do this anymore. My job now is just I'm back here and I'm praying. I'm just observing. I'm over here. I don't have to go and do this, do that. I'm just observing. So, and then the boundaries were set was the fact that I had to understand this is their life.
Yes.
I can give you advice. I can give you some wisdom, but I can't make you do anything. I can't. So just setting those boundaries of just the way that I'm not parenting anymore. I'm just advising, I would say.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I wrote down the exact same thing. It was fun. My kids were fun. My kids saved me from depression. Like anytime I would feel like I was like sad or whatever, we went to just about every park. All 5 of us, me and my kids, and
But
then
you were fun too. You were the fun.
we did everything. Like we had so much fun. Like they were doing like a lot of adventurous things growing up, and it was just fun. And anytime like I would be sad, it never failed. God put these kids in my life for a reason. They would always come to me and say something that would just have me just laughing. And laughter is like the best medicine. Even now, if I'm going through something, they may not know it. They end up calling me and telling me something hilarious, and I get off the phone. I'm always like, "Thank you, God," because God already knew. Like He gave them to me, and they were fun, and we just had a good time growing. That's how come I'm like people nowadays. Don't be afraid when you grow up and get married to start having children. Children are fun. They are a blessing. We had so much fun. It's just all in your mindset of how you are approaching it. Don't let people scare you into being a parent or whatever, because it's fun raising them. And then growing up, I already spoke about as they transition to adulthood or whatever. Yes, that part takes a lot of prayer, but it's still very rewarding. We are best friends. Right now, Micah is looking for a car, and so sometimes he'll call me to pick him up from work. And I tell my coworker, if he'll call me, I'm like, that was just my best friend who don't have a car right now. I got that from Cookie because she calls her husband her best friend. And so we say that and we laugh about it, but they are like just like my mom is my best friend. Our mom, that's one of our best friends. Now my children, we are there now. Now I ain't to see me a thing when they say, when your parents said, you're not my little friend, I'm not your little friend. Yes, you are, my friend.
Now.
Right. I wanna ask Mom this. You know, how was it raising your children and then transitioning from kids to adults?
First of all, things were so different when I was raising you, and I was stressed a lot because I said, I don't want to raise my children wrong. Is this the right decision? When I tell them this, is this the right thing to tell them? So I was under a lot of stress a lot raising y'all. And then I got to a point to where with God, because I didn't know God in the beginning, but with God, I began to relax because I knew that I had a good head on my shoulder. I had an example of how I'm not going to say that, but I knew how I wanted to raise my kids. I seen some things and I said, not like that. And it was fun. I always felt like God blessed me. I would testify at church a lot. I felt like I was blessed. That He blessed me with these women, and I knew how God was going to take y'all. I had another testimony too about the 3 of them. One with this, and that, but we're not gonna go into that.
You can share that.
But
we was looking for.
Yes.
I used to say that God trusted me with Cookie, so she was my test. He saw that I was good with Cookie. He said, I'm going to bless her with Brandy. So I said, Brandy was a blessing. until
Tell the truth, Mama.
Brandy was a blessing.
You free, honey.
But she was something else. I mean, I thought because Cookie was so easy.
Tell the people.
I thought Brandy was going to be the same way.
Let 'em know.
She was the other end of the spectrum. Cookie was quiet. Brandy was
Let the
loud.
people know.
Cookie was easy. Brandy was so hard and rough. and so I just said, I'm done. This is it. No more children. Then here comes Ashley. Let me tell you something. When God wants a child here, that child is coming. I was taking birth control pills. I got pregnant with Ashley. She came. She
birth control ain't got nothing on me. Nothing on me. I came through.
Sometimes you just gotta pop out.
When she came, Ashley was so different. Both of these girls was
Obedient.
very obedient.
Yes.
Very. Brandy and Cookie. They were very obedient.
The
Cookie
test
more
and the
so
blessing.
You hear
than
that,
Brandy
Pastor
until
Jones?
she became a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
But Ashley had me thinking I was crazy at one time. I was
Gaslighting
losing
at
my
a young
mind.
This was you didn't give you got the test.
Okay.
You got the
Wait,
blessing.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I had Cookie was a test, Brandy was the blessing. Here come the trial.
Oh, I thought it was a tribulation. I'm glad I graduated.
I always called you my trial. God said, I bless you. I want to see how you going to hang in it. Now I'm going to give you a trial. Ashley was so different. Even the teachers at school would think that, oh man, here come the baby girl. Now we can't wait till she get over here. They would tell them, you don't want my little sister.
She not like us.
I would tell them she is totally different. She's not, you don't know what you're asking for.
We
Ashley was something on wheels. I'm going to tell you that. Let me tell you the gaslighting. I want to tell you the gaslighting.
yes.
I have always been a very honest person. I didn't lie. My parents knew that I was not going to lie about anything. One time as an adult, I had to tell a lie to get some help, and I broke down crying because I lied. And the lady thought I was crying because I was devastated, but that wasn't it. Because I lied. Well, Cookie was selling candy for school. Ashley and I were the only ones in the house. And on top of that, I had just cleaned. My girls can tell you how I cleaned when I cleaned.
Military.
I had just cleaned up the house. I'm going looking for something behind the couch. Had already moved it, swept, did everything, mopped. Look, I saw a candy wrapper back there, balled up. And I had already told Ashley, no, we not going to do that because I don't have the money to pay for that candy. I'm looking, where did this come from? Where did that, Ashley, I didn't call her Ashley, Squirty, did you eat that? No, ma'am. I didn't eat it. And I'm thinking, how did I miss this? Who ate the candy? Never thinking it was Ashley because I didn't lie. So my kids don't lie. I kept looking and looking. I'm thinking I'm crazy. I'm going around talking, what's going on? How did I? Then I said, wait a minute. This girl just told me a lie. I couldn't believe it because I said she gaslighted me. I don't know, Mama. She helping me look. Mama, I just don't know. Helping me. How did it get back? You might have missed it. I just don't know. This girl lied to me. I didn't get her for that, and I felt like I should have really got her that time for that. I gave her grace.
Yes,
I didn't get her for that, for telling me that. But this girl, you talk about a trial every week, almost every day.
yes.
Let me say in elementary school every week, middle school once or twice a week, high school every day somebody was calling me. You need to come and get your daughter, or your daughter is doing this, your daughter is out, not in class. Your daughter cussed me out. I'm in a I'm in sitting at the table. Wait, I know this is just the first answer. I'm gonna hurry up. I'm sitting at the table in middle school, all the teachers and me. And I felt like I was on trial. They were talking about a girl that I didn't recognize. Ashley did what? No, y'all wrong. She cussed me out, Miss Turner. No, she didn't. But I said, no, I didn't know her. This is my daughter. And proof that God can change anybody.
Yes.
And I'm not saying she was so terrible. She was mischievous, but she was my trial. God said, if you can handle this one, you can handle anything.
Yes.
And I thank God that I did.
Amen.
And my daughters are my best friends. I didn't have a lot of friends. They are my best friends outside of my grandchildren. One
she's
is
telling her
telling me, right, see, there's best friends and then there's BFFs.
It's the same thing.
So, okay, best friend forever and best friend.
Okay.
Well, my daughters are my best friends. I can talk to them about it. I was
Thank
so
you, Mother.
happy when they became grown women because now I can share some things with them that I couldn't, that I kept from them. Now I can talk to them about anything. And because they have 3 different personalities, I know some things I can't tell Brandy. Because Brandy will go to war. She be ready to war. I can tell Ashley. Some things I can tell Cookie. No, some things I can't tell Cookie. That I can tell Brandy. So I have to pick and choose what I tell them. And then and what's so silly about that is that they tell each other everything.
Yes, we do.
So I'll tell Squirt somebody did such and such, if I told Brandy that, what they did, and they had to nerd her, whatever.
Yes.
Cookie is a great accountability person.
Mm-hmm.
I can say something to Cook now, a woman of God. Now, Miss Turner, Pastor Turner,
Mm-hmm.
you know better than that. You know
Mhm.
that. If I told Brandy on my side.
Mhm.
If I told
And we
Squirt,
friends.
they had the nerve to do what?
Same.
Squirt might give me a scripture, but but Cookie is dead set on, look,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the character of a Christian, or well, maybe you should have done it this
Amen.
way. She is that's how she's so.
Right.
So they're my best friends. I can tell them anything. They trust their children with me. And can I just take this 1 minute to say that I was going to do this privately, but I owe my grandchildren an apology because I did not do for them what I did for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I have not gone in their room anointing them with oil, praying over them like I should have. I was not the matriarch because I was loving them in the way I felt like I should love a grandchild. They not bad like my kids were, so I could love them like this. I could love them into
I
obedience.
need all the grandparents
But-
to keep the same energy.
Yes.
Same energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could love them into obedience because they were not bad like my kids were when they were growing up. So I feel like I owe them an apology. I
You
did
do.
not step up as the woman of God in their life they may have need. I did not give them the word like I gave my kids. I would run up on them like we about to go head to head, and I say, God said, and blah, 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 whatever, and then I'm gone. But I don't do this to my grandkids.
Well,
but-
technically,
Feel like-
you did because
Yeah.
you did it in us, and
Yeah.
we did it to them. They would get waking up in the middle of the night with oil all on them, or wake up
And I'll
with
just be
stuff.
smiling.
Yeah, me praying, coming through there.
Bless.
Brandy did it,
Like
Cookie
that.
do it. Like so, when you put it in us, we've done it. So yeah,
I felt-
technically, you did. Yeah.
Thank you
There's
so much,
nothing
but I
like
felt
a
like I
grandmother.
owed them an apology, and
I
I
was-
said that I was going to give it to them because I felt like because I did not, and some of the stuff that I have in me, I need to.
I feel like you taught us
Pass it
though
off in there.
for us to
I'm
do it
sorry, baby.
ourselves, and that
Well,
that's just
thank
how I
you.
feel. I feel like you
No.
did.
Thank
No,
you.
It might
I
not be
think-
as heavy as you. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
the
I
only
like it.
apology
Great job.
you owe them is to not keeping the same energy that you did with your kids.
Agreed.
With
No,
them.
it
If
was
you want to
okay.
apologize, let's apologize for
Agreed.
that.
It's
The same
okay.
energy you gave us, we needed you to give that to them. It ain't
Yes.
time. When you said we got food at home, why all of a sudden you got
They going
money
to
to
8
go
different restaurants.
8 different
Eight
restaurants?
different places.
New day and time.
Yeah,
That's
keep
what
that
was
same.
hungry.
energy. No,
No,
you
we were
spoke.
hungry.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm
didn't
just
say
playing.
that.
I'm just playing.
I didn't say that, Mom.
I'm just playing, Mama. And
I'm
I
not in there.
apologize for all the trials that I put you through.
We gotta get out of here. We only got about 2 minutes. So I do want to wrap it up. It's been fun. We want to thank our kids that showed up for showing up for their mothers,
Yes,
honoring
thank
them this
you.
month for Mother's Day. We appreciate y'all coming. Is there any last thing you have to say for 15 seconds?
Thank you for having me, and I will be back.
Yes.
It was an honor. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate being here today.
Oh gosh, they are their mother's children. We over here too. I want to leave you know. I always want to leave you with something, a tip or something. I want to leave you with something that may that we can apply to our lives, and that would be impactful because we're always learning, we're always growing. We want to grow every day. We want to grow daily. So we talk, we talk about a lot of relationships here on this podcast. So I wanted to say I found this was in my that I heard before, and it blessed me that our work is to get better at repair. Commit to that. Let's commit to repair.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you can also want to try to minimize relational ruptures, but being successful at repair is so powerful and important. One of the problems we see play out is most people try to solve their conflict while they're still dysregulated. Instead of finding their way to regulation first, so they can find a path forward together. So we want to make sure, as parents right now today, if we can, and children, let's make sure we repair the breaches.
Yeah.
Let's
Amen.
repair the ruptures in the relationship.
Amen.
If we can't do our part, it always doesn't. It ain't as God leads us, because some things are left we should leave it alone. But we, as God leads us, let's try to do our part and make sure that we repair the ruptures in relationships and we don't
Yes.
cause the ruptures in relationships. The last thing I want to tell you, leave you with this: healthy relationships don't happen by accident. And when I'm saying repair,
Amen.
let's work on the repair part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Healthy relationships don't happen by accident. They're reflective of the work you've done to draw in love from a place of choice rather than survival.
Yes.
That's good.
I'll say that again. Healthy relationships don't happen by accident. We have to work at those. If we want healthy relationship, if you're a person that wants to be a recipient of a healthy relationship, it starts with you. You
Amen.
first. So you have to do the work. So healthy relationships are a reflective of the work you've done to draw in love from a place of choice rather than a place of survival.
Yes.
Amen.
We thank y'all for joining us on today. We will be back next month with our Father's Day episode.
Whoop,
Sisters,
whoop.
before we go, y'all have any last words?
I want to say I love my mama.
Oh, wow.
I love you,
She
Mom.
is the servant. Somebody give her a straw for all that.
Well, I was just looking at you, and you're very beautiful over there. And I just want to say, repent, because the kingdom of God is at hand.
Yes.
Amen.
Please come to Jesus now.
Yes.
Come
Okay.
to Jesus.
I was trying to say I love my mama, but I also wanted to say I wasn't finished, but I want to say I love my mom. But I also want to say, like, don't, like you were saying, always apologize when you know you're wrong. Like you said, as
Yes.
parents, we are not
Yes.
always right. We
Right.
mess up. We make mistakes. Your way is not always the right way.
Right.
So we can listen and learn from one another.
All
Amen.
right. Thank y'all. We'll see y'all again next
Listen and
time.
learn.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I'm